Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. And today's story might seem like it flew under the radar at first glance, but if you look a little closer, it might just be one of the most important conversations happening around the Detroit Lions' future. Because while fans and analysts are looking at quarterback contracts, edge rush depth, and wide receiver targets in the upcoming NFL draft, there's another position, quieter, less flashy, but absolutely vital, that might be hiding in plain sight. And all signs point to one name quietly rising through the smoke: Josh Conerly Jr., the dominant left tackle out of Oregon, who's turning heads across the league, and could be headed for Detroit. Now, this might sound surprising at first. After all, the Lions are set at tackle, right? Penei Sewell is already being talked about as the best right tackle in all of football, a monster in the trenches who mauls defenders in the run game and erases elite pass rushers like it's nothing. He's young, he's dominant, and he's just getting better. On the other side, you've got Taylor Decker, a seasoned veteran who's not only a locker room leader, but also just made the Pro Bowl. Decker's under contract through the 2027 season, and he's shown no signs of slowing down. So why would the Lions even entertain the idea of adding another high-end tackle, especially someone as talented and polished as Josh Conerly Jr.? Well, that's where things get interesting. Because it's not always about what you need now. Sometimes it's about what you'll need in 2 years. Or next season if things don't go according to plan. And when you peel back the layers, there are a lot of signs that suggest the Lions are quietly preparing for a possible shift up front, and that Josh Conerly Jr. could be at the heart of that transition. Let's start with Decker. He's been a rock for this team, no doubt about it. But he's also about to turn 32 before the season even kicks off. That's not ancient by NFL standards, but for offensive linemen, especially ones who've logged thousands of snaps and battled through multiple injuries, it's the stage in a career when smart franchises start planning for what's next. And let's be real, Decker's extension locks him in financially, but it doesn't guarantee long-term production. The Lions might not be replacing him this year, or even next. But if you can stash and develop a high-upside tackle who fits your system perfectly, wouldn't you at least consider it? Now enter Josh Conerly Jr., the 6 feet 5 inches, 311-pound technician who just anchored one of the best offensive lines in college football. We're talking about a guy who played nearly 1,000 offensive snaps last season, including 929 at left tackle, and only gave up 1 sack on nearly 500 pass rushing snaps. According to Pro Football Focus, he allowed a grand total of 9 pressures the entire season. That's not just good, that's elite. That's exactly the kind of pass protector you want if you're thinking about how to keep your franchise quarterback upright deep into the playoffs. And it gets better. Conerly wasn't just technically sound, he was dominant in both the run game and the pass game. He's got fluid hips, quick feet, and that nasty edge that Dan Campbell absolutely loves in his linemen. He finishes blocks. He drives defenders into the turf. He plays with emotion and fire, the kind of player who fits the culture in Detroit like a glove. In fact, if you look at the way Oregon used him, as an anchor, a leader, physical tone setter, it feels a lot like how the Lions view their offensive line identity. Grit, toughness, consistency, versatility. Now, here's where things start getting speculative, but stick with me. Sources close to the scouting circles have said that Conerly's interviews and pre-draft meetings have been especially strong. He's intelligent, he's team-oriented, and he picks up schemes fast. And while no team has officially confirmed visits, there's chatter, quiet behind-the-scenes buzz, that Detroit's front office has been doing a lot of work on Conerly. A lot. Could this mean they're seriously considering him? It wouldn't be the first time Brad Holmes made a move that no one saw coming. Remember when the Lions drafted Jahmyr Gibbs early, and the media called it a reach, and then watched him light up defenses all year? Holmes doesn't draft for media narratives. He drafts based on vision, fit, and long-term team building. And if he sees Conerly as the eventual heir to Decker, or even as a potential swing tackle who could start at guard while developing, it wouldn't be shocking at all to see Detroit pull the trigger. And let's talk about that possibility, Conerly at guard. Some insiders believe that's exactly how the Lions might use him early on. Let's say Glasgow holds on to the starting left guard job in 2025, but depth becomes an issue. Or let's say Manu, who's still an unknown, doesn't take the leap they were hoping for. Conerly could slide inside and give the Lions an immediate boost, and then slide back out to left tackle whenever Decker's play starts to dip. That level of flexibility is exactly what coaches love in today's league. The fact that he's already played in a high-paced, complex Oregon offense only makes the transition easier. And there's another wrinkle. Connolly's attitude and presence have drawn comparisons to Sewell when he came out of Oregon. They're both high-motor guys. They both play angry. And just imagine the possibility of those two former Ducks anchoring opposite ends of the line for the next 6 to 8 years. That's not just elite. That's terrifying for opposing defenses. So, could the Lions actually make this move? Well, they'd likely have to spend a second-round pick to get it done, maybe even late first, if he rises in the coming weeks. But let's not forget, Holmes has shown he'll move up if he sees a guy he loves. And with this draft class being so deep at tackle, Detroit could find themselves in the perfect spot to grab Connerly without overpaying. If they land this guy, it could be one of the quietest, smartest moves of the entire offseason. Because let's face it, while everyone else is chasing flashy skill positions, the Lions have always built from the inside out. And Josh Connolly Jr. is exactly the kind of foundation piece that could keep this offense humming for years, even after current stars move on or age out. He's the kind of player that doesn't just fill a hole, he shapes the future. And here's something else to consider. The NFC North is changing fast. Chicago's loading up on talent. Minnesota is looking for their next franchise quarterback. Green Bay has found something in Jordan Love. If the Lions want to stay on top of the division and eventually push for a Super Bowl, they'll need to win in the trenches. And you do not win in the trenches by being reactive. You do it by being proactive, and that's what a move for Josh Connolly Jr. would be. But what do you think about all of this? Could Connolly actually be the Lions' next big draft move? Do you think Detroit should invest in a future left tackle now? Or wait another year and see how things unfold with Decker and Manu? And do you buy the idea of Connolly sliding inside to guard if needed? I've got to say, personally, I'm fired up about this possibility. I think adding someone like Connolly to this already elite offensive line could be one of those low-key moves that we look back on in 2 years and go, wow, that's when the Lions cemented their dominance up front. I love what the front office is building. I trust the process. And if Connolly ends up in Honolulu, man, it's going to be a problem for the rest of the league. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Lions News Fan Report, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and as always, one pride, baby. Let's go Lions!